What if tomorrow morning, you wake up and your phone still works, but nothing connects? No internet, no banks, no signals, no power, and within minutes, the entire digital world you depend on simply stops existing. This isn't a blackout, it's a silent cyber attack already moving through global networks, hidden inside everyday data, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. At exactly 6:17 a.m., banks freeze, ATMs die, traffic lights collapse, and communication disappears, turning modern cities into isolated islands of confusion and fear. Within hours, food systems halt, hospitals struggle, water stops flowing, and society begins to unravel, not through explosions, but through silence. This is the terrifying reality of a full-scale cyber war, where no bullets are fired, yet everything you rely on collapses from the inside. And by the time people realize what's happening, it's already too late to stop it. It doesn't begin with an explosion, or a warning siren, or even a breaking news alert. In fact, it begins so quietly that most people never notice the moment their world starts to fall apart. Somewhere deep inside the global digital network, long before the first failure appears, something has already been set in motion, lines of malicious code, carefully engineered and patiently embedded within normal internet traffic, moving silently through servers, routers, and data centers that power entire nations. It hides inside routine updates, disguises itself as harmless communication, and waits, days, weeks, sometimes months, until every piece is perfectly in place. And then, at a time so ordinary it feels meaningless, everything changes. At exactly 6:17 a.m., a banking app fails to load. No error message, no explanation, just a spinning circle that never stops. It's easy to ignore at first. Maybe it's a weak signal, maybe the servers are busy. But within seconds, another bank goes offline, and then another. Across the country, millions of people attempt to check their balances, transfer money, or make payments, only to find that nothing responds. ATMs begin to shut down one by one, displaying the same cold, impersonal message: service unavailable. Inside cities, traffic lights suddenly freeze, some locked permanently on red, others flickering uncontrollably before going dark. Cars begin to pile up at intersections, horns echoing through streets that no longer follow any rules. Commuters step out of their vehicles, confused, looking around for direction that never comes. Above them, communication towers begin to fail in a slow, almost eerie sequence. 5 bars drop to 3, then 1, and then nothing. Calls fail before they connect. Messages remain unsent. The invisible web that once connected millions of people in real time begins to unravel, thread by thread. Inside homes, offices, and cafes, people stare at their screens, refreshing again and again, convinced this must be temporary, a glitch, a storm, a routine outage, but deep down, something feels wrong. Because this isn't random. This is coordinated. While the public struggles to understand what's happening on the surface, the real damage is already spreading beneath it, moving deeper into the systems that control modern life. Electrical substations, controlled by automated software, begin shutting down without warning. No sparks, no explosions, just silence as power grids disconnect piece by piece. Water treatment facilities lose control of their systems, pumps halt, pressure drops, and the flow of clean water begins to weaken. Emergency services receive a flood of calls, reports of power outages, failed payments, dead signals, but the dispatch systems they rely on begin freezing mid-response, trapping operators in a loop of incomplete information. Within the first 30 minutes, confusion starts to shift into something far more dangerous: fear. Because when information disappears, the human mind doesn't stay empty, it fills the silence with its own explanations. Some believe it's a cyber attack. Others think it's a natural disaster. Some assume it's temporary and will be fixed within hours. But no one really knows. And that uncertainty spreads faster than the failure itself. As the morning continues, the cracks widen. Offices cannot operate. Payment systems collapse. Deliveries stop moving because logistics platforms have gone dark. Airports begin grounding flights as communication systems fail and radar reliability drops. What once felt like a perfectly synchronized system begins to fracture into isolated pieces, each one unable to function without the others. And still, there is no official explanation. No clear message. No authority stepping in with answers. Just silence. A heavy, growing silence that settles over cities, towns, and communities like a shadow. People begin to leave their workplaces early, trying to return home before things get worse, but without functioning traffic systems or reliable navigation, even that simple act becomes uncertain. Streets clog with abandoned vehicles. Public transport grinds to a halt. And everywhere, the same question begins to form in people's minds, unspoken but deeply felt: what is happening? Because this is the moment when modern life reveals its hidden truth: everything is connected, and when that connection breaks, everything else follows. The systems we trust, banking, communication, transportation, power, water, aren't separate. They are layers of the same fragile network, each one dependent on the other to function. And now, that network is collapsing from the inside out. Not through force, not through visible destruction, but through something far more unsettling: control. By the time the first hour passes, it becomes clear that this isn't just an outage. It's a coordinated shutdown of an entire digital ecosystem. And the most terrifying part isn't how fast it spreads, it's how invisible it is. No smoke, no fire, no sound, just systems quietly failing, one after another, until the world people depend on simply stops responding. And for millions, the realization begins to sink in: this isn't going to fix itself. This is only the beginning. And as the days stretch on, something profound begins to settle over what remains of the world: not just silence, not just disruption, but a complete redefinition of what survival actually means. Because by now, it's no longer about waiting for systems to come back online, it's about learning how to live without them. The illusion that modern life was stable, secure, and always within reach has been shattered, replaced by a harsh but undeniable truth: everything people depended on was never truly permanent, it was simply functioning, until it wasn't. In neighborhoods once driven by routine and convenience, a different rhythm begins to emerge. People wake not to alarms, but to light filtering through windows. They plan their day not around schedules, but around necessity: finding clean water, preserving food, checking on neighbors, protecting what little they have left. Conversations, once dominated by screens and notifications, return to face-to-face exchanges, where information is passed carefully, sometimes uncertainly, but always with intention. Trust becomes the new currency. Not money, not data, not digital access, but trust. Because in a world where verification no longer exists, where news cannot be confirmed and systems cannot be checked, survival depends on who you believe, who you rely on, and who stands beside you when everything else falls apart. Small communities begin to organize themselves, not through authority, but through cooperation. Someone knows how to purify water. Someone else understands basic medical care. Another has tools, another has food, another has experience. Skills that once felt outdated suddenly become essential. And in those pockets of adaptation, something unexpected appears: not comfort, not safety, but resilience. A quiet determination to endure, even when the future is unclear. But outside those fragile networks, the challenges continue to grow. Resources become harder to find. Infrastructure, once taken for granted, begins to decay. Without refrigeration, food spoils quickly. Without sanitation systems, disease begins to spread. Without reliable communication, help arrives too late, or not at all. And yet, even in this unraveling world, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: societies don't collapse in a single moment, they transform. They bend, they fracture, and then, slowly, they begin to rebuild in ways no one could have predicted. Not as they were before, but as something new, simpler, more cautious, more aware of the fragility that once went unnoticed. And for those who survive, the lesson is permanent. Because this wasn't just a failure of technology, it was a failure of assumption. The assumption that systems would always work. That access would always be available. That someone, somewhere, would always be in control. But now, standing in a world where those assumptions no longer exist, people are forced to confront a different reality, one where preparedness isn't optional, where knowledge matters more than convenience, and where survival begins long before disaster strikes. And maybe that's the most important realization of all. Because the true danger was never just the cyber attack itself. It wasn't the code, the shutdowns, or the silence that followed. The real danger was how unprepared people were for a world without the systems they trusted. And as the horizon slowly shifts from chaos to adaptation, one question lingers, heavier than everything that came before: when the systems come back, and one day, they will people rebuild the same fragile world they lost? Or will they finally understand that resilience isn't built on technology alone, but on the choices made when everything else disappears?